Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Congregation Emanu-El. So before we start off, it is really good to see you all here. I'm going to invite everyone to please keep your masks on the entire service. Just their city regulations is that the service leaders can have their masks off, and you'll see when we come down for Hakafah, all the masks will go back on. So throughout the whole service, if you could please keep those on. During the service, you'll see, because Jews can't agree on anything, we don't even have one set of page numbers. So all of our page numbers are going to be the ones outside of the brackets that we will be calling out. And so we are going to begin on page 172 with Matovu. And Matovu is really a time where we're going to slowly ramp up in the service here about being aware of our consciousness, but also just where we are in life and in space. And I know for some people who have been staring at the service in 2 dimensions for 2 years, that we're finally back in 3 dimensions. And so Matovu is just looking around and saying, thank you so much that I'm able to be here in this space and in this time.
So this is a melody. It should be familiar to a lot of us. Matovu, oh halecha, mishkenotecha, name that too. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from one more time, Matovu. You know, you have to sing extra loud because through your mask, it's a little bit harder to hear you, so I'm not sure if you're with me or not. Let's try it through our masks. Here we go. Matovu, halecha, mishkenotecha, Israel.
Please join us on page 173. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware. We would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength.
Baruch atah Adonai rofei chol basar umafli lasot. And so we move from the blessing over the appreciation that our body is working to actually thinking about, now that our body's here, is the other half of it, that our souls are here. We're on page 174.
Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Ata virata, ata yitzarta, ata nefachta bi, ve'ata mishamra b'kirbi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi
And on page 178, Eli and Violet are going to lead us in the blessing over the study of Torah. And it's not even study, it's really about engagement and wrestling. And that's what they've been doing these many years.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav b'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. We're continuing on 184.
We're going to sing a little bit of Psalm 92, Tov lehodot. It is good to give thanks in song. And it's the second and third line that we'll be singing. And you'll notice on the right side of the page you have the Hebrew, and on the left side of the page it is transliterated. And it's just interesting to note that some of you might know the word in Hebrew, todah, right? Todah means thank you. And lehodot is just an infinitive for that word. But I just want to point out that the word for Judaism, Yahadut, or Judah even, is from the same root, meaning we're the people who are meant to be giving praise. So we're going to give some praise through song. And so we start from the second line, and just see if you can either la 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 or hum, or even try the Hebrew with me. It goes, Tov lehodot ladonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot ladonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Let's try that again. Tov lehodot ladonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot ladonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Lechagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balilot, alei yasur v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor. Tov lechodot ladonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lechodot ladonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Lechagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balilot, alei yasur v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor. Tov lechodot ladonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lechodot ladonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon.
So on page 188, we reach the final psalm. There's 150 psalms in here, and if you walk through all of them, they kind of hit every possible human experience, from joy and celebration to we just had appreciation, to sadness and anger, and then kind of everything in between that. And then you finally get here. And so this is really meant to be a moment where you feel your feet where you are right now, you feel your breath, you think where you are in life, and then you take all of it in, and you just say, thank you for the moment that I'm in. That it may not be the top, it may not be the bottom. Wherever that is, it's all interconnected.
Hallelujah, 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 El bikudsho, hallelujah, birkiyahu. Hallelujah.
Please turn to page 195 and please rise.
Baruch hu et Adonai, Amevorach
Please join us on page 196. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes. More welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from the darkness.
Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. On page 198, we're at Ahava Rabbah. I'm going to invite everyone to please be seated. And this is, if you look here, this is, the word Ahava, it's all about love. And what's different in Judaism is that love is not measured by emotion, it's all measured by action. It's measured by what you do in the world. So what I'd like you to do before we get into this is that just to think a moment of when have you felt love from somebody, from an action that they did to you? Think about that for a second. When's the last time you felt that, or what's the first thing that comes to mind? And then I want you to find someone around you, and if you could share that. And if you don't know someone around you, that's even better. Share it with them. That's how you're going to meet them. Go. So I was talking to the cantor, and you know, one of the things that you do here as the service goes, I almost think of it as like, it's like you're going to gym. Hopefully you had your coffee. That was kind of our motto, like just trying to wake up, and then you slowly stretch, and you're not really ready to get going yet. But right after we did that baruch, that's go time. That means you're actually in the service, and you should be moving. So I'm gonna ask everyone to stand up again, just so we get a little more energy when we're expressing that love that we have for the universe and for ourselves and in our relationships and everything.
Page 198.
וקרבת לשמך הקדוש אלה באמת, להודות לך ויחידך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
Please be seated. We're on page 201.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבדיך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך v'chayu latotafot b'neinecha, uchtaftam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tiskeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotait, v'ditem kedoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lichot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
On page 204, we move to Micha Mocha. And where this sits, it's an interesting spot, and I really learned this from Rabbi Jonathan. It's something I never really had noticed before, but if you think about where it sits in the story of the Torah, is that we just came out of the darkest of times in the whole Torah, which is hundreds of years of slavery in Egypt, and then we are moving to this place of excitement that we're free, running through the desert, and then we hit this wall of water with the Egyptians coming to get us. And this is when we, even after that, we then step into the water, the seas part, and we're dancing. And since most of us know how the story goes from here, it's a long journey after that. Even if you think of Jewish history, it's a really long journey after that. But still, you come back every single day to this one spot that says, when you hit those moments of joy, it doesn't matter what's behind you, it doesn't really matter what's in front of you. What matters is that joy in that moment, and that's where you elevate yourself, and that's what you appreciate.
Micha mocha bailim Adonai.
We're on page 205.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Hasdei Avot V'imaot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Laman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rav Le'Oshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Mori HaGashem, Mechalkel Hayim V'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol V'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Nochlim V'Rochei Cholim, Umatir Asurin, Umakayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umerchaye, Umatzmirach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata lecha chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ
Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkamo.
אחד הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו הוא מושיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי.
Ani Adonai Elohechem Yimloch Adonai leolam Elohai Sihon Ledor vador Hallelujah.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Ha'el
הקדוש.
Please continue either with the words on the page or with the words in your heart counting what you are grateful for. And when you have finished, please be seated.
Take the time to feel the sadness. Love is always near. It seems they go together. The walls are coming down and down and down. Life is going around and around and around. And love, it will be found and found and found. It's all inside of you. Oh, moon of mine, to see you shine is like as if to wish upon a star. I'm so glad to see you. Oh, moon of mine, the night is time for love and a wonder spread across the sky. What would we do without you? The walls are coming down and down and down. Life is going around and around and around. And love, it will be found and found and found. It's all inside of you. Oh, friend of mine, eyes that shine and help me feel that I am not alone. How can I ever thank you? Oh, friend of mine, space nor time will break the bond that holds my heart with yours. I'll always love you. The walls keep coming down and down and down. And life keeps going around and around and around. And love, it's always found and found and found. It's all inside of you. Just also a special appreciation to our musicians today, Dan Zemmelman and Eric Schoen and Jonathan Ferris, who make everything just sound so sweet and pretty.
Well, then I also have a special appreciation for Cantor Addy, because, you know, I always think about the sun is kind of out all day and no one really pays attention, but then you have these sunsets, and any times the sky turns pink, people go, because it takes their breath away. You kind of do that every service, and we are painfully lucky. So this is we're going to almost pause for a moment before we ramp up to the peak of our service at the Torah service, because the Abta family is, I mean, as you can see in this room, connected everywhere and is to the present, to the community, but also in this life of raising these two mensches up here, that we are also blessed to have another very significant rabbi in the room. We have Rabbi Alan Bennett, so I'd like to invite him up, because Rabbi Bennett was at their wedding. He married them. Rabbi Bennett named these two, and now Rabbi Bennett is here to offer a blessing before we head into the Torah service.
Can I join you?
Yes.
Good. Hi.
Hi.
You and I have barely met, so consider yourselves lucky. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Walt. I want to give a little context. Let me first do a short teaching. After 2,000 years in the rabbinate, That's me. I actually don't believe that I can offer a blessing. I don't think we can offer blessings, but I'll explain that as we move along here. I have a little history with this family. I have been blessed to know 4 generations of this family. I knew your great-grandparents, Josie and Mel. I know your grandparents, Judy and Walt. I know your parents, Ron and Allison, and now I have the pleasure of knowing you. Boy, am I tired. But I think what's really important about that and the honor I have had to know this family for as long as I have, that none of these people I have just named offered blessings. And I want you to be just like them. I don't want you to offer blessings. I want you to be a blessing. I think based on what I know of the DNA of this family, nothing that Mel and Josie ever did, nothing that Walt and Judy ever did, nothing that Allison and Ron have ever done is to offer a blessing. They have role modeled what it means to be a blessing, to think of others more often and sooner than they think of themselves. Now, I've been sitting back there watching everything you have done so far, and I have watched how close you seem to be to each other, that you don't even have to speak to communicate to one another. So you, in your own way of supporting each other, are being a blessing to each other. And you smile at just the right times with each other. And as far as parents are concerned, to see their kids smiling is such a blessing, especially when they're teenagers. Ariella, keep that in mind. So all I want to do is not offer a blessing, but encourage you with every fiber of my being to be the best blessings you can possibly be. Not so that people will be proud of you, but so that the world that you live in will be a way, way, way better place than it would be otherwise. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. So now we move to the very peak of our service as we take the Torah out and we're going to pass it down from one generation to the next, down to our newest adults in the community. So I'd like to invite up Walt and Judy, Daniel, Ron, and Allison, as well as Sandra and Susan to help us open the ark.
אין כמוך באלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך, page 244, מלכותך מלכות, כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. כי מציון תצא, כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, ברוך שנתן Shema Yisrael.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
Echad Eloheinu.
Gadlu l'Adonai iti, u'neroma ma'ashemaho yachta.
Lecha Adonai Agedula Ki kol bashamayim uvaretz Lecha Adonai amalacha lechol nerosh Amen, Amen, Amen Yisrael chai 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 Oh, Davinu chai Oh, Nimenu chai Oh, Davinu chai Oh, Nimenu chai Amen, Amen, Amen Yisrael 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 chai Oh, Davinu chai Oh, Nimenu chai Oh, Davinu chai I like to sing, sing, sing. I like to shout, shout, shout. I like to sing, I like to shout. Praise the Lord. Hinei ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. I like to sing, I like to shout. Praise the Amen, Amen, Amen. Amen Yisrael chai. Amen. Davinu chai. Nimenu chai. Amen, Amen, Amen Yisrael 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 chai. Oh, Davinu chai. Nimenu chai. Oh, Davinu chai. Oh, Nimenu chai.
Please be seated. So today's not even a twofer, it's a threefer. We have 3 Torah readers today. Yahamod Elishon, Yahamod Daniel Abta,
Baruch Adonai Mevarach Le'olam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לתורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני מתר תורה.
Amen.
Is that it? Amen. Vayetzav gam et hasheni, gam et hashlishi, gam et kol hahochim, acharei ha'adarim, le'emor kadavar hazeh tedabrun el Esav b'motza'achem oto. Va'amartem gam hine avdecha Yaakov acharenu ki amar achapra fanav b'mincha haholechet lefanai ve'acharechen erev fanav ulai isafanai vata'avor hamincha al panav vehu lan balayla hahu b'machane. Thank you.
So when you're impressed, you yell a big Yasher Kayach. Yasher Kayach.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר תרם תרומת אמת בחיי עולם ואתה בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן הכבוד.
Amen.
Yasher Kayach. Yahamod Sheni. Second to be called to the honor of blessing the Torah, Walter and Judy, Stephen, Elisa, Lauren, and Samantha. And for our second reader, we got Eli on deck.
Baruch Adonai Mevarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hambara Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'anim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayakom b'layla hu vayikach et shtei nashav ve'et shtei shivchotav ve'et achad asar yeladav vayavur et ma'avar yavok vayikachem vayavirem et hanachal vayaver et asher lo vayivater Yaakov levado vayavek ish imo ad alot hashachar vayar Kilo yachol lo vayiga bechaf yerecho vateka kaf yerech Yaakov beheyav kol imo.
Yasher Kayach.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Yasher koyach. So we have now reached the moment where Eli is about to become an adult. So this is, you're wondering like where it is, since you've been, the oldest for a minute your whole life. He's about to become an adult before you. And so when we reach these moments, and we're going to do two today, we're going to do two Shechianus. You're supposed to just breathe it in, appreciate where you are, because time is fleeting. Does everyone feel where we are in this moment? And please join us in Shechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'echianu v'kiyamanu v'kikianu lazman hazeh.
Yahamod Eli Meir ben Ron V'itan v'batya tova. Third, to be called to the honor of blessing our Torah, our bar mitzvah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai mevarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Vayomer shalcheni ki Allah ha'shachar. Vayomer lo ashalechacha ki im berachtani. Vayomer elav ma shemecha, Vayomer Yaakov, Vayomer lo Yaakov, Ye'amer od Shimcha, ki im Yisrael, ki sarita im Elohim, ve'im anashim vatuchal, vayish'al Yaakov, Vayomer Hagidana Shemecha, Vayomer Lama Zeh Tishal Ishmi, Vayevarechoto Sham. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Yasher koyach. Woo! So I'm going to invite you to go sit by your younger sister now and give her some advice. Tell her you remember what it was like at that phase in your life. Ya'amod Revi'i, Ya'amod Chanitan v'batya tova. Fourth, to be called to the honor of blessing the Torah. Two parents whose eyes are smiling.
Baruch Adonai hamevarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Shem hamakom Peniel, Kiraiti Elohim, Panim el Panim, Vatinatzel nafshi, Vayizrach lo Hashemesh, Ka'asher avar et Peniel, Vehut solea al Yerecho, al ken, lo yochlu Bnei Yisrael, et gid hanashe, asher al kaf hayarech ad hayom hazeh, ki naga bechaf yerech Yaakov, vegid hanashe, vayisa Yaakov einav, vayar vehine Esav ba, ve'imo arba me'ot ish, vayachatz et hayeladim, al Leah ve'al Rachel, ve'al shtei hashpachot.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher koyach. Now we're at our second Shechianu. And so, take a moment, take a pause over there, because this goes back to when you were in preschool up there, I guess also in preschool down there, when you ran around here in preschool and in the courtyard, and youth and family ed and everything in between, and now you've reached this moment where you're about to transition into adulthood. And so, even though we can't hit that pause button, we can bless the time. Please join us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'echianu v'kiyamanu v'kigianu lazman hazeh.
Tahamod Chaya Sarah bat Ranetan v'bat Yatova. Fifth, to be called to the honor of blessing the Torah, our bat mitzvah.
Baruch et Adonai Chavarach.
Baruch Adonai Mavarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Chavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayasem et hashvachot, ve'et yaldehen rishona, ve'et Leah viladecha acharonim, ve'et Rachel ve'et Yosef acharonim, ve'hu avar lifnechem, vayishtachu arza sheva pe'amim, ad gishtod ad achiv, vayaratz Esav likarto, vayichavkechu, vayipol al tzavarav, vayishakechu, vayiku, vayisa et einav, vayar et hanashim, ve'et hayeladim, vayomer mi'elelach, vayomar hayeladim, asher chanan Elohim et avdecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Can I get a huge Yasher koyach? Yasher koyach! So I need to invite Ben up now. And Eli, could I have you back up here? And so, just so we know where we sit in time, Ben is the future. So Ben is 1 year from today. Ben will become bar mitzvah. And so I'm going to give you a blessing, but I'm also going to have our two newest adults right here. I'm going to have them give you a piece of advice, which they had not planned for, because I'm like, you don't know, you're not adults yet, you have to go through the experience of what they wish someone would have told them when they're standing in your shoes. If we're going to ask you to do the same thing. But I get to give you a book. So this is, it looks small, this is a bencher. This is where the Friday Night Kiddush is, all the songs, everything. Incredibly useful. My kids steal it from me every Friday night. So keep yours safe. So I give that for you. But the blessing I have for you, it's the blessing we started the service with, which is about engaging with Torah. Is that this really should be a year, it's not about memorizing, it really is about wrestling and asking incredibly tough questions and hitting it from every angle and trying to squeeze out of this process the light that you're going to see in it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Now, adults, if you could offer some advice.
Well, don't sweat it. I mean, it goes by fast, so, stay in the moment and enjoy yourself while you are up on the bima.
Yeah, like what my brother said, just to really try to enjoy yourself, because this is like a one-time thing, and it's one of the most important things that you're going to do in your lifetime, so just really enjoy it.
Thank you. Okay, 1 year. Okay, but before we put the Torah, before we wrap the Torah, while we have the Torah out, it's a good time to do a Misha Berach, a blessing for those who are in need of healing, either of body or of spirit. And sometimes it's both. Sometimes the body's doing great, but the spirit needs some help. And sometimes it's vice versa. So if there's someone who you are praying for, if you could please share their name when my hand passes over you.
Serena Saltis. I'm on page 253, and we'll sing this blessing for healing. Mi sheberach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shleima, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Ya'amod, Hagweva Golelet. I'd like to invite up Jeremy, Shauna, Robert and Jerry to help us lift and to dress the Torah. Please rise.
לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. ישראל, ישראל, באורייתא חטאו. ישראל, ישראל, באורייתא חטאו.
Please be seated. We're on page 254 for the Haftorah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Ve'amit eluim lim shuvati ve'el Yikra'u Yachad Lo Yeromem Ech Etencha Ephraim Amagencha Yisrael Ech Etencha Adma Asimcha Kitzvoyim nehepach alai libi yachad nichmeru nichumai lo e'eseh haron api lo ashuv leshachet Ephraim ki el anochi Veloish Bekir Becha Kadosh Velo Avo Be'ir Acharei Adonai Yelchu Ke'arye Yish'ag Kihu Yish'ag Ve'yecherdu vanim miyam yecherdu chetzipor mimitzrayim uchyona me'eretz Ashur ve'choshaftim al batehem Ne'um Adonai. Sevavuni v'chachash Ephraim, uv'mirma Beit Yisrael, v'Yehuda od rad im el, ve'im kedoshim ne'eman. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzaddik bechol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medamer u'mekayem, shekol devarav, emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'linucha, lechavod u'letifaret, al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, u'mevarechim otach, yitbarach shimcha, befi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. I believe that overall, the Torah portion I'm doing is about disappointment and forgiveness. When Esau was tricked by his brother Jacob, Esau was mad and Jacob ran away. They both thought that they would never see each other again, but they one day met up and Esau forgave Jacob for his actions. Although Jacob's actions were very wrong, Esau forgives him, showing that you should try to forgive people for their actions.
Jacob tricked both Isaac and Esau into getting the blessing that was supposed to go to Esau. When Jacob runs away, angels come down in a human form and struggle with Jacob. Before they left, Jacob asks for a blessing. His blessing was changing his name, since he had won, and he was called Israel, which means to struggle with God and prevail. The question that the rabbis have been wrestling with for generations is, what exactly happened that night in the desert when Jacob wrestled?
Now, with most things in Judaism, there is not a singular view on this text, so we examined commentators that came before us.
The first rabbi I looked at was Rashi, a commentator who lived from 1040 to 1105 in Troyes, France. Rashi believed that the angel Jacob was struggling with was Esau's angel since he wanted to kill Jacob. I disagree with Rashi because when he struggled with Esau's angel, this angel should know Jacob's name. Also, I think Esau would want to kill Jacob, not his angel.
While Eli was studying Rashi, I looked at the Ramban, who lived from 1194 to 1270 in Girona, Spain. Ramban thought that Jacob's action of offering gifts to Esau to soften him up was wrong because he felt that this was showing a strong form of weakness. I do not agree or disagree with Ramban. Although what Jacob did was wrong to Esau, he was trying to soften the blow and thought he was being smart. However, he was also being weak.
Violet, I also looked at Ramban, and what and what I heard him say is that Jacob shouldn't have shown weakness. He believed that Jacob should have acted with strength. I disagree with Ramban because if someone showed strength, they would just want to fight. If someone would show weakness, that would prove that they are truly sorry for what they did. What I think is important to look at in this parsha is that Jacob is scared to meet Esau after 20 years. Jacob tricked his father Isaac into giving the inheritance to Jacob, even though it was meant for Esau, because his mother told him to. Jacob fears his brother, so he runs away and doesn't see his brother for a whole 20 years. Right before Jacob and Esau meet, Jacob wrestles with God. He is renamed Israel because he struggled with God and prevailed. That is the original story, but another way you can look at it is that Jacob didn't wrestle with God. He struggled with his past. When you think about it, would you regret not being able to see your sibling or siblings for a whole 20 years over a blessing your mom told you was okay to claim? Personally, I don't think that is right, so I would most likely be angry at myself. Not to mention betraying my own father in the process. What I have learned from this parsha is that you shouldn't hide from your problems. You should face them. In this parsha, imagine if Jacob owned up to his mistake and told his brother that he was sorry since he knew that he was doing wrong, or he wouldn't have run away. He could have spent more time with his brother, which brings me to another lesson I have learned from this parsha. Time is precious. If Jacob hadn't run away, he could have faced his wrong, made it right, and spent more quality time with his family since they wouldn't be there forever. Sadly, an example I have is when my 14-year-old dog Laylee died recently. I have some regrets because I will admit there are times when I wasn't that nice to her. I did warm up to her, and I love her, but looking back, there are times when I wish I could have been nicer or given her more pets or spent more time with her. Jacob made some mistakes that made him regret. My hope and wish for all of you today is to reflect on your lives and your relationships and make sure you are acting and engaging in ways that you are proud of and that you won't regret in 5 or 10 years. If you can take that wisdom from this parsha and apply it to your life, that alone would be the gift we can draw from the pain that Jacob went through.
From Jacob reuniting with Esau, their bond was brought together again. However, you may have been wondering, as I have as well, why was Esau so quick to forgive Jacob for his wrong actions? I know that if someone had stolen and lied to my father, that I personally would not know how to react, especially if it was someone like a family member. I do know that Jacob was jealous of Esau, but I also can confidently say that jealousy should never get in the way of the relationship that you have with your family. From the commentator Ramban's perspective, he talks about how Jacob's act of getting multiple gifts for Esau is a sign of weakness. I do not agree or disagree with Ramban, but I can say that he was not only acting weak, but also was acting blind. Like I said before, he had so much jealousy of his brother that he could not see that what he was doing was hurting his family relationship and was being selfish. I can also tell you that jealousy is an evil thing that actually can get in the way of important relationships. I have been talking a lot about jealousy and how detrimental it can be for relationships. I've experienced this with people who were friends, and then jealousy ended that relationship. On the surface level, it feels as if this is the danger of jealousy. But in reality, that is just the tip of the iceberg. When that relationship ended, it affected how I engaged in the world. I did not bring the same energy, or as my rabbi likes to refer to it, the same light into the world. I started to act more solitary with my relationships at school and with friendships, and in general, the way I acted with others also changed. Over time, relationships with my friends did get better, but jealousy dims light in the world. Not just that primary relationship, but it has waves. My hope for everyone is that you don't let jealousy get in the way of what you think is important into your lives, because it is a darkness that can affect so many facets of one's life and the branches that the person touches. Shabbat Shalom.
Before we are done talking, we want to say some thank yous to those who have helped us become B'nai Mitzvot today. To start, we would like to thank Rabbi Bauer. Thank you for helping us through the experience, for helping us with our dross, and helping us think about why we have studied for this day. You helped us see a deeper meaning in being Jewish.
Next, we would like to thank Marcia Addy, who is an amazing cantor. You helped us learn how to chant the actual Torah portion, and we feel very fortunate to have such a special person in our lives. We especially thank our mom and dad for getting us through our lives and always being there for us.
You guys mean so much to us, and we love you more than any speech could describe. To that, we say Amen. Now, for our beloved Hebrew teacher, Shoshana. You are without a doubt one of the best people that we have ever known.
You are a good person with a strong soul that shines through you. We love you.
And now, I'll thank my sister Violet. She's the reason why this service is called a B'nai Mitzvah, and I'm so happy that I am doing this with you. I honestly can't imagine a life without you here in my life because that would be too dull. Without you, I would probably be even more nervous for this day.
Now, I'm going to thank my brother Eli. I know for a fact that without you, this great experience would be incomplete. You are strong, sweet, and one of the smartest people that I know. Like with mom and dad, there are no real words to describe my appreciation towards you. But all I want you to know is that I love you so much and you are absolutely outstanding.
Lastly, we would like to thank everyone who is watching right now. We appreciate all of you for your support, and thank you so much for coming here in these times of COVID.
Even though some people are viewing this on Zoom, we want you to know that we appreciate everyone, and you all mean so much to us. Thank you.
This is where oh boy, you want to make sure they hear it, the whole thing. This is going to be tough. I haven't spoken in front of people in a long time, but I'm just going to be here. But Ron and I had some things we wanted to say to you guys, and I'm going to cry, okay? It's fine. Violet and Eli, I can't tell you how many times I've thought about this very day. In fact, the day you were born, or the day after you were born, I filled out your application to Temple Emanu-El Preschool during our stay together at CPMC. I knew that this would kick off your education about our tribe, and it would be one of your first steps towards taking on the responsibilities of being Jewish adults. I couldn't stop staring at these two beautiful miracles before me. And guess what? I still can't stop watching you and being amazed by you every day. And today is no exception. Dad and I are both beyond proud right this very minute. Violet and Eli, you are both such an incredible team, loving and supportive to each other, truly happy to be each other's twin. These are our love letters to you.
Violet, we'll start with you because you're 60 seconds older than your brother, so sorry to remind you of that. Violet, you're a good person. You're an upstander. You're responsible. You're the in-house babysitter. You're good at accounting and always reminding me to pay you the $5 for each babysitting night. You are, really importantly, you are really proud of your Judaism and a strong seeker of justice. Recently, a classmate of yours made an anti-Semitic comment during class. You didn't sit idly and let it pass. Oh no. You took the hard road and responded. Channeling Rabbi Bauer to be loud and proud of your Judaism, you wrote and delivered a speech to your class on how it affected you. Annex my coveted Jewish Heritage Night Warriors t-shirt with the big star of David, the Magen David on it, and now wear it to the school as part of your regular wardrobe rotation along with your Temple Emanu-El Mitzvah Corps sweatshirt. Your principal summarized it best in his email afterwards. Violet, you used your voice to speak the truth and advocate for righteousness. You are social, kind, and choose your friends wisely. Your kindness was even recognized by your school when you received the Kindness Award. You are fun, cool, and love animals. You're a hard worker, and we're so dedicated to the process for today. You demonstrate incredible maturity, and I don't feel like I'm speaking to a 13-year-old girl, but rather a wise friend. Violet, I rest my case. You are beautiful, inside and out, and I love you so much. Mazel tov.
Violet, you are truly what they call an old soul. You are wise way beyond your years, and you seem to understand that there is no reason at all to grow up too quickly. Yes, you want an iPhone, but you aren't in a hurry. You are giggly and kick in the pants hilarious, but you never tease others. You are the person to be with when one would like to feel safe and accepted. You bravely stand up for yourself and others. You understand what matters in life already at age 13. Your kindness is beyond anything I've ever seen. You stop what you are doing and you give hugs. You have confidence in yourself, which is part of what makes others want to be around you. You are a listener and you want to help. You make my heart full, and I'm grateful to the universe for sending you to me. What a daughter. I love you.
Eli. You were only 4 pounds, 13 ounces at birth, and you did not decide to walk until almost 2 years old. You're 20 months old, to be exact. Just one day, you just decided, oh, I'm just going to stand up and stroll for about 20 feet. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And then you dropped down for that turbo crawl that he used to do, where like your arms and feet would move like in a blur of fury. And you would like zoom. It has been so very fun to see you grow and walk to the beat of your own drum since then. You view things from unique angles, and in so doing, you bring amazing insight to what you observe. You're an earnest, kind, and hardworking kid. When challenges enter your life, such as a heavy school workload, you focus and prevail. Like today, you diligently prepared and did an amazing job, both of you. You have sound judgment, as evidenced by the company you keep. Your friends are good kids. You have a great sense of humor. In fact, yesterday, and he likes to come up with these like play on words, and yesterday he said, hey, Dad, what do you call information your dad gives you? Data. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. So you create your own jokes, and you love a good play on words. Your idea for the perfect meal is Halloween candy. You are always moving. You love playing basketball, aero, frisbee, tennis, and wiffle ball. Finally, thank you for the nickname you've given me. Amigo Dre. Amigo Dre. It's your creative word to describe how I'm your father, or padre, but that I'm also your amigo, or friend. I love it. It's endearing. I love it so much. Eli, I love you so much, and I will always be both. Mazel tov.
Okay, mine's not going to be as funny, but that's okay. Eli, can it be possible that you are also an old soul? Just when I think you are not paying attention, you reach out to me and hug me to help ease away my pain on difficult days. You truly care about others, and you communicate with friends in case of a falling out in order to make it right. The letters you have written to us are so honest. You are open, ready to talk and share anytime. Although almost every day for you involves pursuit of candy and sweets, you eat exotic food like a professional foodie, and God forbid if I send you to school with a mere sandwich. You care so much about your work, school and Hebrew, that it can be painful for you, but you always come through for yourself, and you do spectacularly well. You are determined. When you decide you want to do something, such as learning to do a backflip or a pull-up, you follow through. You are joyful. When you laugh, the whole house laughs with you. It is contagious. You continue to surprise me with your knowledge. You fill my life with mischief and laughter, and I am so lucky you are my son. I love you.
So, our blessing to you. May you always be proud of who you are and love yourself for it.
May you embrace the amazing value that you and others bring to the world.
May you continue to laugh and experience happiness.
May you always have hope in your heart when times are tough and the confidence to know that you will prevail. May you live life fully and for many long, healthy years.
Amen. So it's now my honor to invite up the friends to offer a blessing. And the friends really are, when you think of what a pillar is something that, holds everything up, and the community can kind of rest on it. Everything feels like okay. This is a pillar. And so this is a blessing of love.
Just wanted to say before we start, Violet and Eli, you got me so choked up at your love that you exhibit throughout this community. Hopefully my voice will come through clearly, but we love you and love what you've done for the community today.
May God bless you. May God keep you. May the light of the Holy One shine on you. And may God's grace be lifted up to you. Lifted up to you.
Please rise. So now it is my turn and the cantor's turn to give you a blessing. And something which has been swirling in my mind, just with the parsha that you two had, and we talked about it last night, that this is quite a dysfunctional family in Genesis. You look at the relationship, you look at Jacob and Esau, and you just see a twin relationship that doesn't work. And it continues on throughout Genesis until the very end of Genesis, when you get to Ephraim and Manasseh, which are these minor characters, but the characters the rabbis love to give their kids blessings of. The blessings the friends gave you, the blessings which we're going to give you, is we always start off saying may you be like Ephraim and Manasseh, because there's a love between them. And that's really what I saw between the two of you. As you were studying and wrestling with these twins of these past and these twins in the present, there was something incredibly different. And I think what struck me the most was when we were sitting here just the other day in this front row, talking about what was it going to be like on Saturday and talking about the thank you speech. And you turn to each other, you go, well, I said, thank my sibling. I've never seen another sibling in my entire time as a rabbi ever say that before. That their first focus was on each other. What you have, the way you build each other up, the way you care for each other, is we want you to take that love and that energy and we want you to push that into the world. Today is about us giving you this Torah. It's about us saying you are now the newest adult in the community. We want your voices, we want your leadership, we want you to look at the world how it is, be dissatisfied with it, and then to fight for how it ought to be. And so the blessing we are going to give you is that when we say, may you be like Ephraim and Manasseh, you've exceeded that. And now we want you to be you. May God bless you and keep you very safe. May the light of the divine fill your eyes and your soul up with light.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And in all of your journeys, at the highest moments in life, like right now, at the lowest moments, and then everything in between those, may you find a place of shalom, a place of peace, a place of wholeness. Amen.
Et chaim hi lamachasikim ba v'tomchecha meushar derachecha darkei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadish, Chadish Yameinu Chadish Yameinu Kekedem.
So just like Eli and Violet, they stopped and they reflected and were appreciative of who helped get them here. We also place in our service the Kaddish, which makes us stop and reflect upon whose shoulders we stand upon, who is no longer here, that without them we could not be here. If there is someone who you're remembering who passed away in the last week, in the last 30 days, in the last year, or this is the yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing, you'll please share their name when my hand passes over you. Rabbi Sidney Axelrod. I'm on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad tivrach utei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei amaya, yitbarak v'yishtabach v'tba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dugresha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nachamata, Tamiran bi'ama v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Yesterday, Violet and Eli came out to wander. Got a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the fall of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Oh, say shalom v'brahma. Ooh, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Imeru amen. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. We're on
while-
page 300 for the Kiddush.
And while we are leading the Vishamra, I would like to invite all of the, let's say everyone 15 years and younger, if you could come down, grab some candy, and we're going to just hold the candy here until we throw candy after the Vishamra.
L'chaim. Take a sip. Take a sip.
So I'm going to have you guys put these on and come right down here in the center, okay?
So we're going to bring Eli and Violet down to the pool of candy. Come to the floor. You can leave your...
So here, put that down there and head straight down. Go into the mix, guys. So right after we throw the candy and wish a huge mazal tov, I'm going to ask everyone as we're exiting if you also please take your prayer books with you and put them back on the cart to make sure the staff gets a little bit of Shabbat too and not having to pick all the books up afterwards. So on the count of shalosh, we're going to throw the candy as high as we can. See if you can hit the lights. I'd be super impressed. Echad, shtayim, shalosh, mazel tov!
Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Yehelanu, 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 uvechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, uvechol Yisrael. David melech Yisrael, melech chai v'kayam. David melech Yisrael, lechai v'kayam. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, mazel tov!